Near-death experiences. Chances are you've gone through one or even multiple before, but if you haven't, you're either extremely lucky or, yeah, that's it. So when I was little, I used to have a microwave in the kitchen that when I would use it, there would be a 1 in 5 chance that it would fall on me. It sat on the shelf, but nothing was attached to it, so there would be times where I pressed a button and it would tilt forward. The first time it happened, my life flashed before my eyes, but thankfully I pushed it back on time. To make matters even worse, one time it happened again and my mom said, "Careful, it'll cut off your toes." To this day, I still don't know what made her say that. Speaking of microwaves, next is when I almost burnt my house down with a cup of microwavable ramen noodles. I was a pretty picky eater, so I usually only ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a glass of milk for lunch, but one day I had a sudden craving for instant ramen. I had never made it before myself, but I saw my sister cook it a million times, so I was like, I got this. So I opened the lid halfway, put the seasoning packet in, and stuck it in the microwave for around 3 minutes, and went back to watching videos on the couch. I was relaxed and excited to eat when I started to smell something. Smoke. When I looked over to the microwave, it was the same one by the way. I'm not even joking, but it looked like someone put one of those fog machines inside the microwave. It was pouring smoke from the bottom of it. I was so confused what I did wrong until I realized I didn't put water, which is the most important ingredient. Everyone had to open the windows and use their shirts as masks, and I forever despised that microwave, even though it was my fault. The next one I'm going to talk about is when I almost choked, specifically on medicine. I personally hate taking allergy medicine that's even the size of a jelly bean because I always choke on it. One time in 2nd grade, I had a cold and my mom told me to bring this medication to take in the middle of the day that was about the size of a mini M&M. And back then, I didn't want to look suspicious even though it was completely legal and I had permission to. So I quickly swallowed it with water and that's when I could feel it getting caught in my throat. I started coughing like crazy and the medicine shot out of my mouth and onto the floor. Thankfully, no one saw me, but I still have a fear of taking pills. This next story isn't really a near-death experience, but it did feel like I was dying. In high school, I would have gym class 2 or 3 times a week, and the whole time we would have to play sports or walk around. And I would always walk around because one day we had to go outside and I was listening to music and walking on the track until a group of guys playing football chucked one straight at me and I fell chest first onto the ground. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I felt like I couldn't breathe and that I was stun locked. For a second I thought, well, I guess this is it then. But somehow I got up and limped away as fast as I could so no one could ask me if I was okay. Now I saved the scariest for last. My grandparents lived in a farm, and if you've ever been to a rural area before, the roads are so thin and sometimes unstable looking. My whole family was in the car, and the car was pretty bulky and bigger than most of the cars around there. So when we passed through this farm area, there was a car coming from the opposite side. Usually this wouldn't be a problem, but the thing is, the road was smaller than usual, so when we passed the other car, it was tight. Our car was basically on the verge of falling off the cliff. And I guess we were too far in that backing up would be even more complicated, so we slowly inched closer and closer out. Frankly, my grandpa would rather have his entire car fall into a ditch than someone else scratching his car. So the whole time I was staring out the window contemplating my existence because I actually thought we weren't gonna make it. But we did, so maybe I was overthinking it. Well, those were all the stories of the time that I almost... If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that you should always appreciate life and not take any moment for granted. And always add water to your ramen.